Hi everybody, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. Today we're going to be doing a very quick stitch tutorial. If you've been following me in my vlog, you know that I'm working on the Japanese sampler blanket for 2024. This is a cabled blanket pattern written by Tony Ellerens. Each month we get a new clue. I've already knitted this month, and while I was knitting it, I actually did the stitches for a stitch tutorial. We're going to be doing the stitch tutorial today, but I just did it with these colors. This is what it looks like. And I was on the wrong side. This is what it looks like, a beautiful cabled square. We're going to be knitting a square every month, and there's a ton of cable stitches and other stitches in this in this pattern. And so I'm going to do the stitches for January. That's what we're doing today. Come on, let's get started. Here is the stitches for the cabled version, the legend, and here is the legend for the Lacy version. And as you can see, the 4 stitches on the right are all the same. So I'm going to just show you that once, and then I'll break off and show you how to do these stitches for the stitches on the right for the cable version, and the stitches on the right for the Lacy version, which are the unique stitches for each version. We'll just do a knit stitch. All you have to do is put your right needle through your loop on your knitting, wrap your yarn around your needle, pull through. Simple knit stitch. Stick your needle in, wrap your yarn around, pull it through. Now if you're on the wrong side and it looks like a knit stitch, you're going to do a purl stitch. So you're going to bring your yarn to the front. This is all English style. Wrap your yarn around, pull it through. You end up with a purl bump in front of your purl stitch. Stick your right needle into your stitch that's next on your left needle. Wrap your yarn around and pull it through like that. Pull it off. You'll have a purl bump in front of your knitting. The next stitch is a knit through the back loop. When you're doing a knit stitch, you're inserting it through this, what's called the front leg of your stitch. The back leg is this, what's on the back, of course. So if you're knitting through the back loop, you're going to be knitting through this back leg on your stitch, your next stitch. So you insert your knitting needle through the back loop like this. Wrap your yarn around your knitting needle, pull it through, and your stitch is twisted. This is what a regular knit stitch looks like. These first 3. This is what it looks like when you knit through the back loop. It is twisted. Do that again. You insert it through the back loop like this and pull it through. Now same thing when you're purling through the back loop, you're going to do your purl stitch just through the back loop. So you purl, you bring your working yarn to the front, turn your knitting needles like this, insert it through the back leg of that next stitch, and purl and bring it off. That's what purl through the back loop looks like. It is also twisted. That's a regular purl stitch. This is a purl through the back loop stitch. Again, bring your yarn to the front, insert it through the back leg, wrap your yarn around it, pull it through. That is purl through the back loop, and that's what it looks like. There's purl through the back loop right here, these two, and these are just regular purl stitches. So you can see they do lie differently and are twisted differently. The edge stitch on this Japanese sampler blanket is really different. I've never done it like this before. Let me just show you what it's looking like. I know she's doing this to make it easier to seam. This is what it's looking like. I usually just slip the stitches along the edge, but I'm trusting the designer. Again, I like doing new designers. You learn new things. Again, I've never done this before, so here we go. To do the edge stitches, you have your working yarn in front. You slip your stitch to the right hand needle, take your working yarn to the back, put your stitch back on your left hand needle, and knit it. So you are knitting the stitch. That's what it's looking like. It looks a little weird until you get to the next row, but you can see it's making your stitches stand out a little bit, and I think that's, again, going to be so when we seam these panels together, these are going to be panels of squares. I think it'll be easier to grab those stitches along these edges and do the mattress stitch, or do a single crochet to seam them together. The next stitch on the Lacy version is a knit two together. Okay, so basically you're going to take the next two stitches on your left needle, insert your right knitting needle into both of them. You may need to move your stitches closer to the end to be able to work your knitting needle in. So you have it inserted into the next two stitches. Wrap your yarn around your right needle, pull it through. You're knitting two stitches together. It is a right leaning stitch. You see how it leans to the right? Is a decrease. That's how you do it. Again, next two stitches on your knitting needle, insert your right needle into both of them, wrap your yarn around, pull it through. That is a knit two together. If you're on the wrong side, it is a purl two together. So for purling, you bring your working yarn to the front, you insert your right hand needle into the next two stitches because you're going to be purling them together. You wrap your yarn around your right hand needle, pull it through. That's a purl two together. That's what it looks like. Again, bring your working yarn to the front. Didn't mean to hit the camera. Insert your right hand needle into the next two stitches on your left hand needle. Wrap your yarn around it, pull it through. That's a purl two together. The next stitch is called an SKP. That just means you're going to slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over. So you're going to insert your right hand needle into the next stitch on your left hand needle and slip it. That's the slip part of it. Then you're going to knit the next stitch on your left hand needle. So you knit it, and then you're going to take that slip stitch and pass it over the knit stitch like that, and it's a left leaning decrease where two stitches become one. Again, to do that, you're going to slip the first stitch on your left hand needle as if to knit. You're going to knit the next stitch, and then you're going to take that slip stitch and take it up and over that knitted stitch, and it's left leaning just like that. Looks like that. That's SKP. On the wrong side, that is a purl two together through the back loop. And if you have to do purl two together through the back loop, basically you're going to it involves two stitches. The next two stitches on your left hand needle, you're going to be purling. So you bring your working yarn to the front through the back loop. So you got to bring your knitting needle like this, go through the back loop of both of the next two stitches on your knitting needle like this. It's through two stitches. You see that? Let me show you again. Take the next two stitches, turn it like this, insert it through the back loop like that. And then you wrap your yarn around and pull it through. And that is a purl two together through the back loop. And that's what it looks like. Again, bring it, your working yarn to the front. This involves the next 2 stitches. Come through the back loop. Insert your knitting needle through. Wrap your yarn around. Pull it through. Pull it off. Let's purl 2 together through the back loop. And that's what it looks like. Alright, the next stitch on the legend is to stay yarn over. You bring your working yarn to the front and over your right needle, and then you'll just knit the next stitch. And what is it's going to do, this is the yarn over part, is it creates an extra stitch, so you increase by a stitch, and when you come back and knit through that, there'll be a hole there in your knitting. It's really simple. Just bring the yarn to the front and the back and over. Now if your next stitch is a purl stitch and you have to do a yarn over, you have to come all the way around and bring the yarn to the front and knit it to do the yarn over. And it looks like that, but it creates an extra stitch, and there's going to be a hole when you come back and knit through that again. That's the yarn over. And the last stitch on the lace knitting section is a knit 3 together, so that's going to involve the next 3 stitches on your left hand needle. You may need to slide them closer to the end of your needle so that you can get your right needle through. You're going to have to insert your right needle through the front leg of all 3 of the next stitches like that. Just wrap your yarn around and knit them together. So instead of doing a knit 2 together, it's knit 3 together, and looks like that. It is a right leaning decrease of 3 stitches into 1. Again, it involves the next 3 stitches on your knitting needle, your left needle. Insert your right needle into all 3 stitches, like insert your right needle into all 3 stitches like this. Knit them together for the knit 3 together. Looks like that. It is a right leaning decrease. 3 stitches into 1. And that is all the stitches for the Lacy version of the Japanese sampler blanket. The first one is the BF stitch, which is a cabled stitch. B means that it's going to be going to the back, and it's really called the 1BF 1F. As you can see right there, 1BF 1F. You're going to take 1 stitch on your cable needle, hold it to the back, knit, knit. That's all it is. So it's really simple, not too hard. So I'm going to show you how to do it that way. Take 1 stitch on a cable needle or a spare DPN. I've got those round cable needles. You knit the first stitch, or knit the next stitch on your left hand needle, then you knit the stitch on your cable needle, and then that's it. You can see the stitch is a right leaning cable. Anytime you take your stitches to the back with a cable needle, it makes it lean to the right. So that's what it looks like. Beautiful cable stitch. Okay, I'm to the point again where I'm ready to do a BF stitch. Again, BF, you're going to take 1 stitch to the back. And all I like to do, instead of using a cable needle when there's just 2 stitches involved, sometimes I'll just use my fingers. I'll take it, if it takes, take it to the back, I'll take the stitch off, hold it with my fingers, and pull, and then keep it back there. And then now I've got the stitch moved to the back. Move these back to your left hand needle, and then all you have left to do is just knit these since they're in the proper orientation. You have to be careful when you do that. You don't want to drop your stitch, but if you're just doing 1 stitch, it's not that hard, and it looks just the same. You can see there's the one I did without the cable needle, and there's the one I did with the cable needle. Let me point it out. It's right there. They look exactly the same. You're doing the same thing. The next stitch is the 1F 1B. That is going to be, since it's F, it's going to be a left leaning cable. My cheat sheet tells me you put 1 stitch on your cable needle, bring it to the front to make it go lean to the left. You're going to knit 1, knit 1. So That's the way you do it. You put your stitch on your cable needle, bring it to the front, knit the next stitch on your left hand needle. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. And then you knit the next stitch on your cable needle. And it is going to be a left leaning cable. Looks like that. Beautiful. So see, you have your right leaning cable starting that direction and your left leaning cable starting in that direction. Now I'm ready to do the front leaning cable, the FB, the 1F, 1B. So instead of using my cable needle, this is the alternate way. I just hold it to the front like I did for the other one I just showed you. Grab my next stitch, hold it on my right hand needle, put that stitch I'm holding to the front back on onto my right hand needle. Now my stitches are twisted and or my stitches are oriented the right way with that stitch in front. And you just slip these back to your left hand needle, and you're going to knit both of these. Just have to kind of use your fingers to separate them. Just knit both of those. You would do whatever you would have to do, like if one was a knit through the back loop or a purl, but those are just knits, and that's how it looks. The left leaning cable. That's another way to do it without a cable needle or a DPN if you don't have one. And especially, you can easily do that when it's just a 1-1 stitch. When it gets more complicated with 2 stitches on the cable needle and 1 to the back or 1 to the front, it's just, that's when you really need a cable needle or a DPN. Now to the point in this pattern where I'm going to be doing this third one, this dot L. It's green, which means it's going to be going to the right. This is the designer's code. You have to also look at what the designer writes. We'll be doing a cable 1BP 1FL. Since it's B, it's going to lean to the right, so you're going to hold your stitches to the right. Hold your stitches to the back so that the cable will lean to the right. All right. So the next stitch you put on your cable needle, hold it to the back. I had my yarn to the front, so I'm going to move it to the back. I'm going to be knitting through the back loop, and then for the next stitch on the, so you insert it through the back leg, knit through the back loop. Then the stitch off the cable needle, you're going to purl, so you have to bring your yarn to the front like I just did. Purl. And that's what that stitch looks like. Right leaning cable with a knit through the back loop and a purl stitch. It's this next stitch down. It's this one, this cable 1FL 1BP. Since it's F, it's going to be leaning to the left. You're going to bring your stitch on your cable needle to the front. So you take your next stitch, bring it to the front so that your cable will lean to the left. The next stitch is a purl 1. So you bring your yarn, working yarn to the front like I just did. You purl the next stitch off your left hand needle, and then you're going to be knitting this stitch off your cable needle through the back loop. So you insert it through the back leg like that. Knit it through the back loop like that. And that's what that looks like. Purl 1, knit 1 through the back loop. Okay, I'm going to show the last stitch on this legend. It's a cable 2B 1F. You're going to be taking 2 stitches on your cable needle, holding it to the back, so it's going to be a right leaning cable, and it's going to involve 3 stitches. We're just going to be doing knit stitches, so it shouldn't be that hard. Let's do it. Alright, so working yarn is in the back because you're just going to be knitting. Grab your cable needle, next 2 stitches you're going to put on your cable needle. Again, right leaning, so take those to the back, and then you're just going to be knitting all the stitches. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera there. Trying to do this close up here for you guys. Knit, knit. So right leaning cable, I mean 3 stitches. That's what it looks like. I know this yarn's a little dark. I'm just doing this with what I'm making instead of doing special. But can you see how that leans to the right and the 2 stitches behind it to the left? All right, we're going to do that again. We're going to take the next 2 stitches off your cable needle, put next 2 stitches, put it on your cable needle, knit the next stitch, and find my working yarn on your left needle. Then knit those 2 stitches off your cable needle, and that is that cable stitch. It's a right leaning cable. Very simple, very beautiful though. Can you see? That's all there is to it. Thank you so much for tuning in for this stitch tutorial. I hope you enjoyed seeing how all these stitches are done for the month of January. Also for this, I would like to offer you guys, I know this is a paid pattern, and so I would like to open it up and have a small giveaway. If you guys are interested in winning a copy of this pattern, please put a comment below, and in the comment please include the word Japanese, Japanese, and I will be picking a winner of, I'll pick 2 winners of a copy of this pattern in a week. I'll put the date across my face. I don't know what that is right now and when this is going to post. So that will give you guys an opportunity to knit this pattern. Again, this pattern is a charted only pattern. So if you are not, if you don't know how to knit from charts, it is a great opportunity to teach yourself how to do that, because you do have the whole month to knit this clue. But if you don't want to do that at all, then this is probably not the pattern for you. But it is a beautiful pattern, and it is a great opportunity to teach yourself how to do that if you don't know how to do that. I hope that you will participate in this mystery knit along with me and knit this. If you are knitting this with me, let me know down in the comments below. I would love to know what yarn you're using to knit this project, because you do have a couple of options. You could do a sport weight or a worsted weight. So let me know down in the comments below if you are knitting this or if you are planning on knitting this. We just got started really, so you're not that far behind to go ahead and get started right now. And this is a year-long project, so we will be doing this throughout the year. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I will see you all very, very soon.